mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hello.
All right, guys, we're back. Unfortunately, Tiara is not available for this episode, but we are back with episode 224, Emergency. This is the 2022 film, directed by Kerry Williams and starring R.J. Seiler, Donald Elise Watkins, Sebastian Cachon, and Sabrina Carpenter. This is about three college students, two black, one Latino, who find a drunk, passed out white girl in their dorm room, and they are afraid to call the police for obvious reasons. And it's sort of a college comedy of sorts where they're trying to get this girl some help, get her to the hospital or what have you, while trying to avoid getting picked up by the cops because they're three brown kids. What did you think of this movie, Micah? You chose it.
It's not bad. I enjoyed it. It's an incredibly frustrating movie, though. It's a movie that I understand how movies work, right? Like the movie has to be a movie, right?
Right.
And the story has to happen. I just really don't like it when the story has to happen because of stupid decision after stupid decision after stupid decision.
Right.
And look, I chalk it up to these characters being kids. Like there's I think this movie does have a lot to say. I think it's not beating you over the head with its messaging, which is good. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, not called the cop show. Like like this have been the shortest movie in the world if this was me in this situation,
right?
Because I'd have just called the cops and just dealt with like I kind of wish it was a different scenario, but I can't think of something off the top of my head, but stupid decisions aside, because the movie has to happen. I enjoyed the commentary, social commentary. I enjoyed the acting. It's there's one thing that I didn't really like at the end, and I guess we can talk about it then, or we can talk about it now. But and I'm still processing the thing that I don't like. So maybe during this conversation, my mind will change. But
Okay.
but it's a solid movie. It's a solid movie. I imagine that if Tiara watched this, she would have ran to the Wikipedia to.
Oh no, she wouldn't have been able to take the anxiety of this. No
Right?
No
like it's just because like I feel it. You know what I mean? Like it's in this movie, right?
Yeah,
like it is
so.
in this movie. But the movie doesn't take itself overly serious, which I thought was it kind of straddles a line between something that's very serious but like playing it off like a college movie, right? Almost like a Revenge of the Nerds type shit, but like with like severe racial implications.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a weird line that they straddle, but I think they do I think the movie does a pretty admirable job of straddling that line.
Okay. This movie's 105 minutes. I like the setup. I didn't mind the setup. I like the difference between R.J. Seiler's character and Donald Watkins' character, Sean and Kunle, respectively. I like R.J. Seiler a lot, actually. Like everything I've seen him in, I enjoy him. I think he's a pretty fun actor to watch, fun young actor to watch. But for the first half of this movie, after the setup, all I could hear in my head was like, "This isn't for me. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. This isn't for me." I have I haven't seen a movie in a long time that struggles to catch its legs for so long. But once it does, boy, is it like a different movie. Like, for me, the second they meet, and we'll talk about it, obviously, the second they finally come head to head with the drunk girl's sister and her friends, and they're like trying to like explain what's going on, that quite literally feels like two different movies. Like, from that moment on to the end feel like two separate films, right? Like, just in the tone alone changes dramatically. So like, I'm glad that I stuck with it, but I had a really hard time like really enjoying the sort of like college fucking one situation into another. Like, we're trying to get from point A to point Z, but like roadblock B, C, D, E, F. It was like, all right, I got it. Because I've seen that college movie 1,000 times, right? And it wasn't doing anything particularly new or interesting to me. And like you said, just the premise, like, I get not wanting to call the cops, but there are definitely other things that you could do that would get you immediately out of the situation.
And they even talk about some of the things. Like, we'll get to it when we run through the movie. But I'm like, yeah, why didn't you just do that? And like, this is another thing. This is another trope in movies, especially movies involving students, where one student is, as the movie called him, black excellence, right? Like, right. He is
quite like, literally. He's
gonna be the next Barack Obama for fungus and shit, right?
Right.
And
what a terrible title. Oh, you're the Barack Obama of what? Oh, fungus. No, that's not good. I'd rather not be called.
His best friend is a bit of a slacker. Now, look, man, I don't have too many friends, but my best friend is a little bit like me, right?
Right.
Like,
it's a little weird to be polar opposite friends with polar opposite people. I agree with you.
Right. And they're in the same college. Like, it's very odd to me. It's very odd to me. And I'm not saying it can't happen, right? I'm not saying it can't happen. Like, I know people that are different from me, but I don't know, man. This is weird.
Like your best friend has seemingly so very little in common with you, right? Like, it's just it's a normal. That's a very college movie trope. Like, it's like the super nerd and the like crazy party frat guy. Like, why would they be friends?
Yeah,
why would they be friends?
Like, my friends aren't crazy party frat people. You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
no,
but.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm a huge frat guy. Like, I can't wait to do keg stands. That's definitely me. But yeah, it's so they play that sort of trope, which again, that's a very movie thing to do.
Yeah, it's a movie. I get it.
But I think my biggest issue is like it took a long time to catch its legs. Like that was my big problem with the movie.
It's interesting you say that. So this movie is a remake of a movie that the same director did, right? Same exact premise,
right,
same
like a short
character
film, right?
name, but it was a short film. And the short film focused on the situation and what do we do? And that's the most interesting parts of this movie.
So the latter half, basically.
Right. The situation, so it basically cuts out the first 25 minutes, yep. Right? Then it cuts out we got to get her from here to here to here to here to here, right? Which is another half an hour.
Right.
And then it gets to the end. So
I'm telling you, dude, like it didn't turn on in my brain until an hour into this movie. I was like, oh, okay, this is the part where they clearly gave a shit about the script. Like I don't even want to say that because that feels unfair. Like, they clearly really connected with that part, and they were just like, we have to write this early part to just get to the shit that we want to get to. Like,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, it was based on a short film. Clearly, that's what happened. They were like, we have to stretch this out into a full narrative. So what do we do prior to shit popping off, right? And it feels like, because it just, like, it feels like they were writing a summary. Like, they're very, 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 very good friends. And then they were like, oh, now we got all the plot. It was just like, they're trying to squeeze it out to 1,000 words. It was like, but they did that part in the beginning. So it's just kind of funny. But like the latter half of it, I super enjoyed. Like once it got going, I really enjoyed it. I just wish the sort of first hour was actually quite good, but it was very middling. I won't say bad, but it was just very middling.
It was fine. It was fine. But for me, it was fine. But like I'm looking at the Wikipedia, like that's what I'm going to base this off of. The first sentence: best friends and college students Sean and Kunle prepare to become the first black men to complete the legendary tour, a practice of visiting 7 frat parties in one night. The next sentence is literally 25 minutes into the movie. So this
They skipped everything. They don't worry about Kunle's background. They don't do any of that.
There's this weird opening where this college professor is
oh right, yo, that's a big part. Yo, like it really kind of establishes like kind of their friendship and like how they see the world. Actually, that's hilarious. It was like, don't worry about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's funny.
So there's this whole part in the beginning where where Sean and Kunle are in a class. They're the only black kids. They're not the only people of color, but they're the only black kids in this class. And this English professor, English in terms of nationality, she comes in and she's like, trigger warning, hello, right? And she's like,
that's how I would like any trigger warning in a movie. I would like it to be a pompish English woman saying it. And she's like, fucking blimey. We're here to talk about the word. Oh, that's Australia. I was like, yo, where are you going? Good day.
Oi, mate, we're here to talk about the word nigger. And you know, it's she's like, what's with this word? Why is this word like powerful? I bet you know why it is. You know what the fuck it is. But it's college, right? Like you're supposed to have these kind of discussions, right? You're supposed to do this stuff in college. Not college shouldn't be a safe space. In the you know, traditional like punk ass sense, right?
So let me ask you a question about this scenario. This British / Australian woman, apparently.
Oi there.
She's got a presentation up, and the presentation is just the word nigger in huge letters. So that's the only thing, which is wild. Can you imagine you just walking to class late like, yo, what the fuck? Does it bother you to have a conversation, to hear a white person use the word nigger in a this is clearly an intellectual conversation about the history of the word and about the effects of the word. In an intellectual conversation, does that bother you?
It's very clinical. I've never had it, right? I took an African diaspora class at Morgan, and it was taught by a black woman, and she goes through like
as it should be.
What the fuck? I mean, come on, you know. And she talks about like the history of the word nigger and how it's literally born from ignorance because like the white people thought they were in Niger, but they pronounced it Niger.
Right.
Because they didn't know the pronunciation and the people who lived in Niger were the niggers. And like she said, like that's where that word that's the history of that word. It's literally born because white people don't know how to pronounce certain words.
Right.
But in terms of it irks me, right? Because part of it is like what Sean says, right? Part of it is like you just want an excuse to say it, right? Because you
It
know
feels
it's
like
so
that.
taboo. Yeah, it's very taboo, and it's the one thing that society asks white people. Well, not the one thing, but it's like the hard and fast rule that literally everyone, including other white people, ask white people not to do, at least within the presence of black people. Right?
Right.
Like, I'm not so naive to think that white people don't say the word nigger, right? But like, can you do me a solid and not say it within earshot of me?
Right.
Because it bothers me, and it feels like a bullshit excuse to kind of get away with doing something that you're not supposed to do,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah. I'm not, I wouldn't say like in an academic conversation, I'm not offended by the word, the use of the word, but I would agree with you. Like, it's not necessary for white people to say, because if it does feel like it's like a get out of jail free card. You know, it's like, all right, you could just say N-word. Like, we all know what you mean. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, Nantucket? Like, no, that doesn't, like, that's not it. So, like, you know what I mean? It's
the rapper. It's the rap. I'm just quoting rap lyrics, bro.
Nah, yo. Then do what white trash people do. What's it? The insane clown posse? Ninja.
Yeah, they say ninja.
Which is bullshit too. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
You're just
transferring the word. You're transferring one word to another word. Like, don't.
Yeah, we're not idiots.
Like, come on, yo. Come on.
Also,
you might as well say it at this point.
Yeah, you sound like an idiot. Like, you just sound dumb. But I mean, you're an ICP fan, so
yeah, we're talking about people who paint their face white and they're dress up like clowns, like trash clowns. So
right, like this is their aesthetic. So, like, I'm not bothered by it being talked about academically. I do think it feels like a bit of a get out of jail free card. Now, that being said, if I was in the class, I don't think I'd be like that upset. I'd just be like,
yeah, I'm not gonna like walk out.
No, that seems silly to me. I would just be like when she went to them and she's like, "Hey, don't mean to pick on you two black fellas, but like, what do you think of the word?" Then I would use that as an opportunity to be like, "Yeah, I think some white people use it." Like in settings like this to just say it because they want to say it, right? Like you call them out academically about it, right? Like, because there's nothing more frustrating than using people's logic against them, right? Like just weaponizing their own bullshit against them. Highly recommend it. But yeah, I found that interesting. But to see Sean's reaction, which is like, nah, this shit is unacceptable, I don't like it. And then to see Kunle's reaction, which is, well, she did give a trigger warning. Like, he's not saying it's okay, but he's basically like, how mad could you possibly be at this, kind of? Because she's not trying to be malicious. But like, that to me, the fact that they skip over that in the Wikipedia is pretty sad, because that actually establishes their worldview. Like in this scene, it actually does. So
it very much gives it defines who these characters are, right? Like, oh, okay, I immediately gravitate towards Kunle instead of Sean, right? If I had to gravitate towards one of these two extremes, like,
yeah, they're a bit of extremes.
Right. Like, I see myself more as a Kunle than as a Sean. Kunle, very unfortunate sounding name. I'm very sorry if it is like a common African name. Kunle just doesn't.
Considering his type of character and how he's referred to by other characters, yeah, it's unfortunate. Right. But maybe that's on purpose. Maybe that's on purpose
too. It's 100% on purpose. Yeah. It's 100% on purpose. Yeah. That is not lost on me. Yeah. But yeah, so we get like the first 25 minutes is just kind of like establishing these characters, the nigger conversation, and the conversation in the classroom. Get it? See what I did there?
Yeah.
What's his name? Sean describing what the legendary tour is, which I will never understand why you people who drink alcohol feel the need to drink alcohol in multiple locations. I went on a pub crawl once.
You don't drink. That makes a sober pub crawl is the worst pub crawl I've ever heard. heard of in my
Sober
entire
pub
life.
crawl. A sober pub crawl is literally what I do every day. Just walking.
Yeah, just walking from one location to the other. It's awesome, bro. Is it? Is it? This seems really fucking lame. But pub crawls aren't that interesting either. Also, pub crawls are more of a white people thing. If I'm being honest, like it's just not.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I? And look, maybe it's more of a young people thing because I'm just like, can I just have my drink and just sit here? Like, why the fuck
Right.
why are we doing a marathon, my nigga? Like, I already have a tab here. I like it here. Why are we leaving?
Do they have different alcohol at the
Right, it's the same
bar?
Oh, you can drink a beer in this place or a beer in this other establishment. I'm okay. Like, I'm all right. It's fine. Yeah. So the legendary tour, seven frat parties in one night. I've never been to a frat party. I've never been invited. That's also fine. I'm not a frat guy. Like, I'm just not. So my college didn't have frats. Maybe that's another part of it. But yeah, that's just not a thing I would be interested in at all. But shout out to people who do frats. That's fine.
Mine did. I wouldn't mind joining a frat. I do mind all the bullshit that they put you through to do it. I ain't there for all that.
No.
Like,
you can just join after college.
Yeah, they were like, "Why don't you just apply graduate chapter?" I mean, at that point, like, who cares? like people join frats because they need friends in college, and yeah, I don't want to have to like eat dog food or whatever to join your little club, right? Like, I can wear a blue and white shirt on my own and just draw a signal on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like. No, I'm just not gonna be tortured, and then people will be like, "Hey, we're friends now." Like, yo, you were just kicking the back of my head in fucking 48 hours ago, like yelling at me. No, we're not friends.
Was that movie review Burning Sands? Like,
Burning
that was a really good.
It was a good movie. No, we couldn't be friends after that. Like, cause I hold a grudge, yo. Like, and I don't let shit go that fast. And we friends now, nigga. No, we're not. Nah. Don't fall asleep around me. I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, get the fuck out of here, yo. No, we're not gonna be friends. Get out of here.
At least the military, they give you a gun afterwards. You know what
right?
I'm saying?
Like, you made it. Like, all right, cool. Everybody got a gun, cool. And like the people you rolling with, they also get treated like shit. Like, nah, fuck that. Nah, I couldn't do it, dude. Like, we're not brothers after that. Like, I'd be like, yo, I don't like Big Brother Cool Mo D or whatever the fuck bullshit name you come up for yourself. And I hate you, yo. I hate you, yo. You made me eat dog food in front of a girl I liked for fucking 6 months. Try to get in your club. No, fuck off.
Shit.
We're not friends. But yeah, like, I think it's probably a good idea that the Wikipedia skipped largely the first 25 minutes because besides, like you said, besides this, the nigger conversation, which is a very fucking weird moment, and then the explaining the legendary tour, nothing happens until they meet this girl.
Yeah, nothing happens, man. There's something about his bacteria or something that he needs to keep refrigerated before the pub crawl, and he doesn't. Then that's the impetus for having them go back, right? So they start to go back. They get into their when at their Latino friend Carlos's house, they discover, and I mean, Wikipedia is wild, man. When at their Latino friend Carlos's house, they discover the unconscious body of Emma, a white woman living in their living room. This is a nightmare scenario, right? This is a nightmare scenario, right? Like,
nah, B.
Like
not today.
I get it. Like, I get it, right? I get, and this is where they weigh the pros and cons of what we should do, right? Kunle, who is very naive, right?
Yep.
And he's like Carlton before Carlton got shot, right? Yep. Like, he's like, well, we got to call the cops, right? And Sean, who is a little more streetwise, is like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, they are going to see this situation. They're going to see 3 brown people standing over an unconscious white woman, and they are going to shoot us. And while I think that is a bit extreme, I also don't think it's I 100% understand the thought process because I live in the real fucking world.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's extreme, but it ain't though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not that extreme. Like,
There are way
especially
too many instances of real life people sitting in their goddamn homes watching TV, sleeping, and police come in and just, you know, bust off. So I get it. I 100% get it. And
However, allow me to solve the problem of this movie rather quickly. You know, you had to call the cops. Get yourself a nice big old sturdy towel, a beach towel, if you will. Roll her ass in it. The three of you carry her ass outside and throw her outside. Close the fucking door and leave. That's it. That's it. A drunk white girl on the steps of a dorm room. That's college. Who the fuck cares? Nobody's gonna think anything. Goodbye. Like, leave her in front of your neighbors, or like just sit her outside. Like, look, maybe they're cameras, but probably not. Y'all carrying this white girl out later on, so who gives a fuck? Nah, yo, get out. Get out.
Yeah,
get the fuck out. Wake up. Get the fuck out. No,
I would have, if the woman is unconscious and can't move, can't do anything, right? I don't know what I would do, but my first thought would be to call the cops and leave. Like, hey, wellness check at such and such and such and such, and then leave and not come back until
call campus security. Call campus security. Don't even call the police. Be like, yo, there's an unconscious white girl who came in our apartment. We just got here. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Period. And look, you can even stay there because campus police, they're not going to just shoot you, dude. Like, they're like, yo, it's a student. We don't know who the fuck this is. You call the police. Police just come on campus. They don't know what the fuck is going on, right? No, fuck that. Yeah. But the movie's got to happen, so I'm not mad at it. Like, it's not a thing to slam the movie for because, again, you have to create the scenario. So I get it. But no, real life? Nah, fuck that. No. I wouldn't have touched her.
Nope. Kunle is all just like palming her and shit. Like, yo,
hey, what's going on? I'm like, nigga, wake up.
Hey, yo, come on, yo.
Hey, you want to be the Barack Obama of the local prison? Like, get the fuck out of here. No, man. Look, there was a great early moment on that show, Blackish, where Anthony Anderson's character got in trouble because he was at work. And he hit the button on the elevator, and the elevator door opened, and there was a toddler, a little white girl on there. She was just crying, and he was just like, nah. And he just didn't help her, yo. He was like, no, don't trust it. It's like, fuck that. Yeah. And everyone's like, you piece of shit. Like, why did you help? He's like, look at me and look at her. Y'all gonna believe me when I just found this little white girl? Look. Like, that's not what I would do in real life as a toddler. I get that. But at the same time, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Shit, man, please. Right?
This is
get the fuck away from me, toddler.
You just hit another floor, bing, and they just close the door, someone on the fourth floor will get her. It's fine.
Yep.
But
catch the next
catch the next one. But it's like the what is it? Chris Rock tells that joke. It's like back in the day, if I get on an elevator, there's a bunch of young white boys, I just dive off. Get the fuck out of here, yo. No. Can't trust it. I mean, but that's the world in which white people have made, right? The scenario.
And that's fucked up, man. That.
Right. It's not that they don't want to help. The funny thing is, the three characters, it's not that they don't want Sean, Kunle, and Carlos. It's not that they don't want to help the girl. They are afraid of the implications of what it would look like to racists. Right. That's it. It's not hey man, fuck white people. That's not even their perspective. Their perspective is a thing that's skipped over in the Wikipedia is that Kunle actually is interested in this white girl in his class, right? During the nigger ceremony or the nigger situation, right? He actually likes her. So it's they don't have, and it will continue to be called that throughout this episode. So they don't have any deep seated hatred for white people. Yeah, fuck them. Let's get them. That's not they want to go to frat parties. Hello, what do you think the frats are run by? Right. So it's not like that. They are simply reacting to to an American truism created by white racism. Like that black people, even when they're doing something completely innocent and reasonable, they can be seen as like criminals or or the bad guys in general. So like I like that point. And again, once this movie starts gets going, it really nails that point quite well.
So we cut to the guys are like, all right, we should go to the hospital that's 10 minutes away, right? And we cut to Emma's sister, Maddie. And Maddie's all distraught because she took her sister into this party and now can't find her. And,
Maddie's
I've said this before. I will say it again here. White people don't care about other white people. And when I say that, I mean like black people have a tendency, and I don't know about other racial minorities, but I would assume that it's something similar. Black people have a tendency to like look out for one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we kind of acknowledge it, even like whenever you see another black man walking down the street, like you make eye contact, give him the head nod, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Hey, I acknowledge you, right? Like that's a small, that's like a micro like form of solidarity, right? Like
the exact opposite of a microaggression,
right? And white people don't do that. Like they don't have the luxury of, or they don't have the burden of having to look out for each other.
They do not. No, they don't.
And you know, this fucking proves it. Like, I guess I know this character is meant to be a bit of a, I don't know, yo. Look,
she's supposed to be kind of like an aloof,
I get it.
White college student, right? Like this is her sister, and she's just like, oh, she hadn't seen her sister that she brought. We'll find out more about it. That she brought to this frat party. Her sister does not go to this college, but she brought her sister to this frat party and didn't see her for 2 hours.
2 hours, yo.
2 hours? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
What kind of fucking person are you, yo?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. Look, I'm not advocating you gotta like, if you come to a party, you gotta be like standing right next to the person you came with. Like, you can mingle, do your thing, but like you're bringing this person around a bunch of strangers, like around an environment they don't even know. Like if you guys all went to the same college or whatever, and you kind of just know everybody, like that's different, right? But like you're just bringing this person into a completely unknown situation. Like, nah, yo, you don't just ditch your friend for 2 hours. What the fuck?
Not even friend.
Yeah,
family.
Your family. Right, exactly. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I think your point of like white people don't care about white people is absolutely true. And this is juxtaposed with 3 brown men giving a shit about a white person they don't know.
One looking out for each other, right? Like Sean is all about like, I'm trying to save sure us. We get right. And Kunle is like, hey, Kunle and Carlos, to a slightly lesser extent, are like, hey, we got to help this person because they are human fucking beings.
Right.
She's a human being. And I feel like we do that a lot, or at least, the people that I surround myself with, I feel like we do that a lot. I feel like we are always trying to help people and sometimes slightly to our detriment. And we forgive way too quickly, in my opinion.
Oh, black people?
Like, black people in general, right?
100%. 100%, dude. 100%.
Oh, you run up in a church and you kill a bunch of people? That's all right. God wants me to forgive you, and therefore I will forgive you. Look, I'm religious. Religious. I believe in God, but like I also believe in like common fucking sense, yo. I'm not forgiving people.
You don't have to forgive people for killing your family. Yo, that's insane.
Yeah, you really don't, yo.
You don't.
You really don't. And I know you're supposed to forgive for yourself, right? Like, nah, yo, I'm gonna get over that shit. I'm not get over it. I'm gonna be all right hating you.
Right. Like, I think it's okay. Like, no, I'm good. The J man will understand. Like it's cool. Like you got it. You got it, dog.
Yeah. Come on, yo.
No, that's
get up.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about when we get there.
If I just explain my case, right?
Like, look, man, you saw the shit. It was fucked up. He'd be like, you know what? All right.
Your Honor, may I approach the gates? Right? Like, come on, man. You saw what that shit was. He was like,
they let this nigga go to Burger King after. Can you believe that shit? Like,
and I mean, if I'm being honest, Judge, you ain't do nothing about it, right? So,
relax, sir. Objection. Relax. Simon Phoenix your ass. But yeah, it's I do think it is an interesting juxtaposition of these young boys of color legitimately trying to protect this girl, because part of it isn't just like, we're all joking like, I just roll her up in a fucking towel. I'm sort of joking, but only sort of, and dumping her ass outside. But in reality, you don't do that if you're a stand-up person, because you don't want someone to take advantage of her. Right? Like, that's the real reason. And they don't go into that, which I think they should have, because it makes their reasoning that much more sound. Is that this girl cannot defend herself on a college campus with definitely some shady fucking dudes, right? But they should have said, like, yo, we can't put her out there because, like, what if somebody, like, tries to abuse her or some shit like that? Like, that would have actually been a good point to make. But I think that just kind of went without saying, right? Like, you just don't do that if you're trying to be good guys.
You don't need to be told. Well, maybe nowadays people do, but normally you don't need to be told to do the right thing. Like, you should instinctively want to do the right thing.
You should, but not everybody is like that.
Not everybody does that, though.
Right. And also, people are not good at picking up sort of subtext in films, I've noticed. Like, they need text. Like, I mean, quite literally text on the screen. Don't rape. Like, don't rape that unconscious girl. Like, please don't. Like, they're like, all right, got it. All right. It's all up here now. So, yeah, I mean, I think that juxtaposition is interesting. And they do a really good job at the end of the movie to really hammer home, like, nah, yo, like, your behavior is unacceptable. And I actually love that part of the ending. So continue.
So Emma's sister Maddie and her friends Alice and Raphael, they go to look for her, right? Raphael. Oh, I didn't know you were white. Yo, his name is Raphael. You weren't white. His name is Raphael, dude. Okay.
Well, maybe she thought he was like really Italian, like Ninja Turtle.
So the back to the three friends, they try a second option because they hit like a sobriety checkpoint, and Sean is just like lit out of his mind.
Yeah, it's like, nah.
And they got an unconscious woman in the car, right? Like, I get it. Like, you don't want to go up to the danger with an unconscious woman in the car, right?
Fuck that.
So I 100% understand. So they like, look, there's a party over here. Let's just roll up on this party and do the J and dump this girl over here, and somebody will find her, right?
There you go. Give her the old J special. Dump her out of a van and keep driving.
Do what you want with her and boom her fast.
Go, get out of here. Beat it. What the fuck?
As Kunle leaves the van to be the lookout, an incident leads to several students chasing them off the property. And they throw objects at the car, shattering the taillight. So Kunle goes up to this Big Lebowski totem, and he's going to be the lookout, make sure the coast is clear, and is like, all right, guys, come over and dump her by the Big Lebowski, right? But then some dude comes over and starts pissing on the Big Lebowski, and these frat dudes are like, hey, what are you doing? Pissing on the dude, right? And they're like, fuck you. And they start chasing him.
They start chasing him while they're wearing their Coors Light and Bud Light made outfits, which is weird.
Yeah.
White people are strange.
It's not, it's Okay. Um, we
This
cut
is
to
not what
Maddie.
everyone does who's ever had a drink.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. They cut to Maddie. Maddie's using Find My Phone app to find Emma's location. Um, During the ride, Carlos accidentally gives Emma a bottle of Four Loko or whatever it
Death
is that you
Punch, I
drunk
believe.
drink.
I think it was
Death
Death
Punch?
Punch. Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
No, I think that's just some like jungle juice nonsense.
Why got to be jungle juice?
You know why. I did like what Carlos like. He's like trying to get Emma to drink this little jungle juice or whatever. He's like, and he puts like a sheet around her legs. He's like, oh, okay, here you go. You know, trying to like make her feel warm or whatever. And he's like, just like Professor X. Like, he just puts it over her legs. I found that to be funny. But yeah, so he gives her this drink. He doesn't realize it has alcohol in it.
Right. So Emma has to pee. So they this is another scene that I'm surprised Wikipedia skipped over this. I actually found this bit of storytelling actually pretty good. Emma has to pee, so they pull over. The Kunle and Carlos walk Emma out into like some shady area.
Right.
While Sean is in the van playing with his phone. And he looks up and he sees a white woman who lives in the area on the house across the street, and she's got her phone out and she's recording him. And he tries to be friendly, right? Like, hey, hi, it's me. I'm smiling, right? And when they come back from taking a piss, they're like, yo, we got to figure something out, yo. But we can't call the cops because like some shit is going to go down, right? And Kunle is like, well, statistically, how many people get shot by the cops, right? And Sean is like, nigga, what? Like, enough.
Yeah, and like, yeah, statistically across the entire United States, pretty low. Statistically, with your black ass right here, pretty high, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, yo. Like, you can't be that naive, man. Like, you can't be that naive in 2022 or whatever.
Right, like,
place.
Like, if this had happened, if this movie took place in, let's say, I
you don't even know when, because
right, like I can't give an era, right? Like, but like there clearly is like a larger amount of shootings that have been captured on film, is what I was going to say, as of late, right, in the last number of years. Let's say like 20 years ago, like when cell phones weren't prominent and you didn't have fucking 4K cameras walking around everywhere, then maybe you could have like a back and forth conversation. Well, you don't know what happened to those things. But like in 2022, like you've seen black men like running away from a cop and getting shot. Like you've seen them just standing there and being shot. Like it feels ridiculous for Kunle to be like, statistically, how bad could it be? It's like, you're black. You're a black man in America. Like your percentage of chance of being killed are wildly higher than you're pretending it could be.
Right. So, the guys, they come back. After they have this conversation, they realize, oh shit, we got to get this van off the road because we have a broken taillight because of those frat dudes. Like they threw a rock, broke taillight. Broken taillight, that's all a cop needs to pull you over for literally any reason, right? Like a broken taillight. And
look, that's a good bit of storytelling, and that's a bit of a deeper cut, because like that is a very known thing that cops would break taillights of black people's cars and be like, oh, your taillight's out, that's why I stopped you, just because you are black, like even if you didn't have issues, right? So it was like a very, very famous thing that would happen, especially in the deep south, to black folks. So it's not happenstance that the taillight is the thing that they're going after here. It's actually pretty smart.
Right. So they realize, oh shit, all right, we can't have this car because they can pull it over because of that taillight. Let's go to my cousin's house or whatever, to borrow his car, and I'll think of something. Meanwhile, the woman who was recording them comes out, camera, camera in hand, right? Like, we've got you. And the husband is like, we don't tolerate that here. They say that they think that the guys are selling drugs, selling drugs to each other. I don't understand their reasoning. They try to the guys try to explain the situation, and Sean is just like, nope, we leaving.
Yeah,
and
no, I'm not explaining shit.
Right. Kunle is trying to explain the situation, and he's like, and they're like, no, get out of here, right? And they end that scene with the older white couple going back in the house, and it is no mistake that a big Black Lives Matter sign is sitting right there. And I don't know if that's just them trying to be like, hey, to me, it shows the hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think that's
exactly. I think it's and it could be argued that, well, they thought they were selling drugs, so that's why they confronted them. If they were really bad, they could have called the cops immediately. But I don't know, man. It just seems like to me that shows the hypocrisy of liberal white people, and in that they wouldn't even try to listen. Right now, at the same time, like, I don't know, I get it, but no.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it has a lot to do with hypocrisy. I think it has to do with the sort of performative nature of supporting things like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like in rhetoric only. Oh, well, I have a sign. Hey, you can't say anything about me. I'm not a racist. I've got the sign. I have it right here. But it's Black Lives Matter is a lovely catchphrase, and it's a powerful movement and everything else. But it's also being co-opted by people. Just it at this point for white people. I won't say for black people because it's very much means something to us. It's quite literally our lives. But a lot of white people in America, it feels like the same people. Do you remember when Lance Armstrong had those fucking yellow armbands or whatever, or wristbands, where people would wear them and it became a fashion statement when it originally was about cancer, like giving a shit about people who had cancer. And like, so they took something, then it became fashionable and cool, and then every organization did it till it meant nothing, and then it died, right? Like taking away any level of real meaning to that whole situation to begin with. And I feel like Black Lives Matter, like now the blank blank matters or whatever. Like it's just become a trope, which people go, oh, it's just kind of being funny or whatever. And like I get it. I'm not some stick in the mud about it, but it does dilute the seriousness of what Black Lives Matter means when you're like nerd lives matter or fucking, cosplay lives matter or whatever. You know what I mean? Like when you do stuff like that, it makes it just dilutes the seriousness of it. When you're not those groups are not suffering. You're just trying to be like, they exist. Okay, cool. They exist. Like, it's not that black people don't exist. We're not trying to say we exist. Everyone knows we exist. It's that we're being murdered. So like, if you could just like not trivialize, that's the word I was trying to come up with. But if you could not trivialize those things, that'd be great. And, the idea of a white couple who immediately assumes black people are selling drugs just because their car is stopped while having the sign in the front yard is a form, they basically trivialize the meaning. So yeah, I think you're 100% right that it's about hypocrisy.
They also like the another problem with sloganeering, like the stupid stuff that trivializes it, but also the other oppressed minorities that co-opt the same slogan.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's not that it is trivializing the lives matter aspect of it, but it oversaturates it.
It actually ends up making it an all lives matter thing. Right. Like ironically it does.
Exactly. And it just is, I don't know. Come up with your own shit.
Look, shout
We'll
out.
help you.
Look, right, we'll help you. Look, shout out to you got Black Lives Matter. Shout out to Asian people. They did stop Asian hate, right? They didn't just do Asian
Right.
Lives
They didn't
Matter.
do Asian lives matter.
Right. You'll be like, yo,
right.
that was our thing. Like, yeah, stop Asian hate. We don't need to stop black hate. Like, don't co-opt their thing because that is important.
Right.
Like, sloganeering really does matter. It changes people's perspective on things, right? So yeah, let them have their shit. Yeah, I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that.
Well, see, I mean, they're smart because, like, all of them, they're all smart. That's why they didn't co-opt our shit.
Yeah, collectively with their math skills.
Yeah, they're all smart and they all know karate. No matter what part of Asia they come from.
That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. Look, you know, some stereotypes are offensive, obviously, and some stereotypes are beneficial, right? They ultimately, like, some of them are trying to be nice, sort of, but they're still hurtful. Like what if you just like an average Asian dude and you're just like, yo, what the fuck? What I do, man?
Regular dude.
And they're like, you're an idiot. Like, I'm not an idiot. I do fine. I'm just not a fucking, like 4.0 grade point average. I'm sorry. They're like, yeah, this guy's a dummy. Like, I'm doing better than all of you. Like, that's true, but you're not doing great for an Asian. Like, that's fucked up. Right? So, yeah, all stereotypes hurt eventually. Look, black dudes, we got stereotypes about us. Some are very beneficial to us, but at the same time, it makes us seem like fucking sexual monsters. And it's just like, you couldn't possibly be a serious person. Like, well, no, yes, it's true about the dick, but like, there's a person attached to this giant penis, right? Like, so,
Right.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Like, I'm tall, but I can't play basketball for shit.
No,
Fuck
you can't.
you.
Yeah, it's true. That is sadly true. I've seen it. Micah's basically like Stanley from The Office. If anyone has ever seen Stanley play basketball, it's pretty shameful. So yeah, look. But again, this is where things start to finally kind of move in a direction where it really starts to pick up.
So this is another little bit of commentary. Not commentary, but it's maybe like this is us talking to ourselves. So Kunle, so they go to Sean's cousin's house to get his car, right? Like, Sean is going to try and convince his cousin that he needs to borrow their car, and they leave Carlos and Emma outside. Carlos is trying to revive this girl, and he's giving her this punch that he doesn't know is spiked, right? So we cut back into the house. And it's very obvious that Kunle is uncomfortable in this situation, being around a bunch of other black dudes.
Yeah,
that didn't, I'm assuming, come from a upper middle class background like Kunle did, right?
Right. Both of his parents being doctors.
Right. And it's just dudes hanging out like playing video games and, smoking the reefer or whatever y'all do. And
I don't do drugs.
And he's very
laugh, but okay.
he's very, very uncomfortable to the point where he's like, "Can I use your bathroom?" And then just kind of hides in the bathroom later. I only bring it up because Sean and Kunle have a big blow up about it, about the different aspects of blackness later on, and this kind of sets that up. This also sets up a very funny scene where Carlos is talking to Emma, and she's kind of coming around. She's still groggy, and he's like, "Hey, what year are you?" And she's like, 12. And he's like, "Oh shit, 12th grade? Like, you're a high school kid? Oh fuck," right? So he goes and he's got Emma with him, and he goes up to the to Terrence's house. Terrence is the name of Sean's cousin, and he tries to explain the situation. These niggas are like, "What the fuck is?" They were like,
that black dude was like, "Nope." He fucking walked right out.
They explained that shit, and they were like, "Nope, get the fuck out, get out. Everybody, all his like Terrence's boys was just gone. They were like, fuck this. And look, this is what you do, yo. Like this is what you do. Like this
extricate
is what,
yourself from that situation, gone.
Yeah, yo,
gone.
like get the fuck out of here. Man.
He was like grab the weed, nigga, and just ran out. Yo, they literally broke out. They ran out the door. Yo. They were like, no, we are not staying here with a white drunk high school girl. Nah, every nigga in that house going to jail. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So Terrence is like, yo, you found a drunk white girl. You brought her to my house, and she ain't, like, dude, I'm on parole, yo. Like, what are you doing to me, man?
Yeah.
And they're like, so Terrence is like, give me the keys. You can't use my car. Like, if y'all get pulled over, that's just a whole nother world of hurt, right? Like, it's not something I want to be involved in. And Terrence and Carlos and Kunle take Emma out the house. Terrence pulls his cousin aside and is like, yo, what are you doing, yo? Like, you need to stay here and let them figure that shit out because they are going to be all right, but you are not. Right. What do you think of this scene?
Look, I get Terrence's perspective. I think it is a completely valid perspective that he knows that Kunle is this like triple-A student. He's gonna do great. Carlos is this Latin kid who seems to be got his shit together too. Where Sean isn't quite like that and probably isn't the best student. Like he's smart, but he doesn't seem to apply himself. So nobody's gonna stick up for him. Like that Kunle sort of personality. Teachers and professors are gonna be like, if he gets arrested, oh, he would never, and they stand up for him. But maybe that doesn't happen for Sean if they get busted. And Sean's a little bit more streetwise, so he's probably gonna say some stupid shit that's gonna get him fucked up anyway. I get it. I get Terrence's perspective. It's his brother. And he doesn't want to see his brother go through the same shit he went through, right? Like you said, he was on parole. At the same time, Sean decides not to do that and go along with them because you don't leave your friends behind. You don't leave your friends to deal with this shit on their own. Until you do. Until you do, right? Because, that's the whole thing is Terrence is still in the back of his head, right? Like, the entirety of Sean's perspective on the entire situation is his brother talking, basically, right? Like, nah, fuck that. Can't call the cops. Can't trust this shit. Like, that's all the streetwise brother type of shit. So it makes sense that ultimately he ends up listening to his advice, just not right now.
So they get Emma in the car. Emma's sister and friend and Raphael are like, they're still tailing them because they're like on a bike and like a hoverboard or some shit.
Yeah, it's one of those like one wheel skateboards.
Yeah, they didn't nobody has a car. Like they didn't think to hop in a car and just try to find them from there.
Nope.
But the movie got to happen. Eventually, as they're driving, Emma regains consciousness, begins screaming because she's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. At one point, she breaks Carlos's nose and she punches Kunle.
Yo, she fucks them up, yo. She fucks them
yeah,
up.
Yo, she looked like she broke Carlos's nose, man.
Oh, definitely.
They ride the car into a ditch because of all this. Emma runs away into the darkness. And the three of them go after her when she escapes into the woods.
Nope, she's conscious. I'm good. I'm going home.
I'd have left. All right.
No, yo, I'm going home. You good now? You good? You can fight. You can fight in the back of a van. You probably gonna be all right.
But at the same time, look, I'd have immediately pulled over. Like, cause I don't care. Well, I wouldn't be.
Where am I? Nowhere. Get out.
Right. You want to get out? There you go.
Yeah.
Nah, yo, look, maybe that says a lot more about me. But as soon as she regained, if for whatever reason I'm in this situation and she regains consciousness, I pull over immediately. Goodbye, you're done. But like you said earlier, like at least two of these dudes are, they don't want any harm to come to this girl.
Yep.
Me, I don't care if any harm comes to her, quite frankly.
Quite frankly,
I'm looking out for me.
For number one. Look, for a long time in this movie, Sean is wearing a hat that says trust number one, but it's really trust no one.
No one. Right.
Yeah. Like, I got it. I figured it out. I'm smart. Yeah, they even refer to this white girl as Goldilocks. It's like, yo, come on, Come on. Yeah, she literally comes into three, by the way. Ironically, right? He calls it Goldilocks because Goldilocks ends up in the home of three brown bears and destroys their fucking lives. My wife will never let my daughter read that book. She's like, that book is racist. She's like, my wife is like super adamant. She's like, no, it's about a white girl destroying the lives of brown people and then not paying any consequences for her actions. At the end, she was like, no, we're never reading this book to our daughter. I was like, that's a good ass point. You're right. Get out of here.
And got the nerve to eat their food and critique the shit.
Ugh.
What the fuck, bitch?
What is this? What is this, seasoning? Ugh. Why isn't this chicken bland? That book is fucked up. Like, that story is really fucked up if you think about it. Nah, don't read that book to your kids. Don't read that book to your kids. Unless you got an addendum, like you got a Dr. Umar Johnson addendum where the bears eat her at the end. Like, some shit like that. Then totally fine with it. He would write that book. He'd be like,
he would write that book.
He'd be like, there's 2 more pages. And that's when the bear kills the little girl. Like, you know what? All right. He's making some decent points.
So the three guys, they find her, they bring her back into the vehicle just as Maddie, Alice, and Raphael find them. Now, this part is about...
This is where the movie starts.
About an hour. This is about an hour in. And this is where it starts for you, huh? Yeah. Right when they do this, they're having this big blow up. They're, the two sides of blackness, right? Like the smart intellectual side and the very like streetwise black side of that all black people have in them are dueling, right? And it's like, fuck, I should have called the cops, but at the same time, but you know what's going to happen when you call the cops,
right? And
the two of these kids, they kind of go at it. They kind of go a little hard at each other. And it's the scene that you expect from two polar opposite characters who are also best friends put in an extreme situation. With Carlos in there just to, well, maybe you shouldn't say pussy because pussies are actually really strong.
Yeah, they give
ironically, you should say wiener because
it's like, yo, shut the fuck up, Carlos.
And Sean calls out Kunle, right? Like, yo, this is the first time you've ever been around real black people and you hit in the fucking bathroom. And Kunle is like, nah, yo, you just a fucking punk bitch. You were scared. You were scared to you were scared during the nigger conversation. And you ain't want to say nothing, even though you had everything to say. And you were scared to do anything with the white girl. Like, you just scared, right? And they, I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good scene. Yeah. Pretty standard, but pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, look, it's not bad. Again, this is where the movie starts for me. I mean, it is standard, right? And like, look, I will give Kunle's character credit, where he was like, you think that you're basically more black than me because you know where to buy drugs and that you've done drugs. Like, big fucking deal, dude. Like, that just means you're fucked up. Like, that doesn't mean anything. And look, that point I think is a valid one. Sometimes, like, we get that a lot of times, like in the comments for this show on YouTube, like, well, y'all ain't never been to jail, so y'all not really. I'm like, that's not something to brag about. I don't understand.
Yo,
like,
that says a lot about you, yo. That you think that
right,
you are only black if you like do some fucked up shit
like,
and get caught.
right, like this feels weird, or like y'all ain't grow up in the hood.
That's a weird flex, man. That's
Like,
a very weird flex.
Like, look, I've never been to jail. I'm good. Like that's not slamming anybody who's in jail. I don't know their personal situation. But like it's a weird flex. But or like y'all didn't grow up in the hood. Yeah. Like, okay. Like
because I didn't have it. I'm assuming grow up in the hood means you had it like difficult.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a difficult life, like I'm not black enough. Like
again,
I don't know,
what does
man.
that
Like,
what does
like
that say about
really,
what does that say about how you see blackness? Right?
right?
Like you can't advocate for positive blackness. You can't advocate for black success when anytime someone is from that, then somehow it's wrong. Like that feels like you have to realize the language by which you use, right? Like the perspective by which you make those comments, because what it's born out of the same, like, you talk white, which means that you think that people who talk using proper English, like the only people who should sound, in my opinion, like pronounce words correctly are white people. Like, why?
Right. It's a weird self-hating racism. And
like it makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense, right? Like Blue Ivy is never gonna grow up in somebody's hood, right? Is she not black?
Right.
Like
why should she? Her parents are two incredibly successful black people. What are they supposed to be like? All right, well, time to eat mayonnaise sandwiches in the projects.
Right.
No.
Like
the goal is to get our kids out of this shit.
That's the whole point, yo. Like that's literally the point, is to not have it, to not be as, to not, for our children, the next generation, to not have it as hard as we did, right? Like that's literally the point throughout all of history, especially regarding black people.
Right, like that's and that, yeah, right. You're right. That's not even a black people thing. That's a human thing. Like,
right,
it's a human thing. Like it extends to us as well. And you're right. It especially extends to us just because our circumstances still keep us pushed down a lot of times. Like yeah, I come from what some people would. I mean, you would look at my parents' house and be like, oh, they come from privilege. Like, I grew up like. Me and my mom, like, I'm the child of a single parent. Like, me and my mom lived in an apartment above somebody's apartment. Like, not in an apartment building, like at a house that had like an upper floor. So like, I didn't come from like silver spoon type of shit. But my mom went to school. She worked her ass off as a single parent and was able to eventually provide those kind of like luxuries and shit as I was older. But like, my daughter already doesn't have to grow up like I grew up. Like, she already doesn't have to. And guess what? If she has kids, I hope that they do even better than she does. Why would I want her to have a harder life or as hard of a life? Why? Like, that makes, to me, that makes no sense. It makes no sense.
That makes no sense. That feels like some crab in a barrel ass, like, bullshit.
Yeah. Gentlemen see for everyone.
Yeah. Like, fuck that, man. Like, we need to stamp that shit out of our mentality, man.
We do.
Like, for real.
We do. And look, also there's another side to that, and I'll play devil's advocate for the side where we're just sort of chastising people who think like that. The other side is like, if you come from like privilege, don't look down on black people because they're not there. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, come on. Man.
I'm sorry that you didn't make it. I would never comment something like that because what the fuck? Who the fuck acts like that? Like, as an adult, a human person acts like that? No, you're a dick if you act like that. Like, that's ridiculous because you don't know where people come from and they're trying to make it. But like, equally, how about we stop like hard judging each other for where we are in life, which we had nothing to do with. Like, I had no choice in what my parents' financial stake was. Like, when I was born, my daughter didn't either. So like, And then, people who are, in the projects or whatever, they don't have that choice either. They're all trying to make it. So I never understood wanting to see black people be successful, but also chastising them when they are. It's just fucking weird to me.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
I mean, I'm not some rich asshole like Micah. I mean, Jesus.
I mean,
see, look at this guy.
I'll tell you. You make more money than me. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, but I struggled. I struggled.
Struggled. Struggled with the weights as you work from home. Get the fuck out of here.
Only 3 days a week. Only 3 days. It's practically slavery.
Yeah, exactly. So Maddie, Alice, and Raphael find the others. Maddie attacks Sean and Kunle with a branch. Poorly, by the way. Yeah, like you found like the limpest switch you could ever find. Again, like white people, what are you doing, yo? Like you've never had to go out and get the stick with which your parents would beat you before. Like, come on, man. Like
that's a wild Southern thing. Go get a switch. I'm like, what? No. You go get it. I'm not giving you the tools to beat my ass. Get out of here. My parents already had a belt in the house.
Yeah, mine did too. It was called Blackie. He named it.
Yo, your dad is a wild dude. Go get Blackie.
Get Blackie.
That's wild. I told you. I think I've said it on this show. I was such a stupid kid. Like parents are fucking, they're maniacs, right? Like they can be total maniacs. My mom was like, I'm gonna make you go take a shower and I'm gonna beat you with an extension cord. And my stupid ass was like, I'm gonna get electrocuted. Like I was so stupid. She never did. But somehow the thought of that, I was like, yo, that's the scariest shit I've ever heard. Makes no sense at all. She's not gonna leave it plugged in. What the fuck are you talking about?
My dad did beat me with an extension cord. He got in trouble for that. He got in trouble for that one. I remember.
Feel like he probably should have. Yeah, yo, they can't do that to kids.
I couldn't sit down. Like he literally beat me to the white meat. Right, like the upper part of the skin was gone. It was the white meat. It's white, and then it turns red because all the blood is rushing up to it. And I couldn't sit down in school. And this was elementary school, so fucking CPS was called to make sure that they to do a wellness check. Yeah, man. Like he got in some serious trouble for that shit.
Hey,
don't beat your kids, man. Just like take shit away. Just take shit away, yo. Don't beat your kids.
Yeah,
because then you teach your kids subconsciously like that's how you discipline. You know? What I mean?
That violence is the way to discipline. Yep. Yeah.
Don't even like get frustrated and hit a pillow, right? Because like that's the same thing. Like don't do that shit. So Maddie attacks Sean and Kunle with a branch. They're like, what the fuck? Get away. And Maddie accidentally pepper sprays her damn self.
Dummy.
Like a fucking dummy, yo. A fucking dummy, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos and Raphael, Alice and Raphael, they pose as cops. They're like, get on the ground now. Right. And then they realize, yo, what the fuck? Like, you wearing shiny shoes, yo. Like, you ain't no cops. And Raphael sees Carlos sees Raphael. They reveal, oh shit, they're cousins. They're happy, and then they're like, and Alice is like, wait, huh? But you was like, well, I'm mixed, right? Because like her ass couldn't tell that he wasn't white. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny in this incredibly tense situation. Just like a little bit of levity. She's like, oh wait, he's your cousin? She's like, yeah. Huh? But you don't look. Well, I'm mixed. So
like,
open your mind.
Yeah, but she was like, okay, I'll allow it.
Right. She was like, I'm not a racist.
Yeah. I'll fuck a Latin dude. I'm like, oh, congratulations.
As long as he looks,
white enough.
Yeah. Uh, Carlos and Raffaele reveal their cousins. They calm the rest of the group down and explain the situation, though Maddie remains skeptical. A scared Sean abandons the group to go to the underground, the last frat party in the Legendary tour. Sean is like, look, we did what we needed to do. We got us some help. Time to roll. But Emma is starting to OD because she's been getting like 4 Loco and all that shit. And she begins to OD, and they're like, hey, we need to get her to a hospital in this van. And Sean is like, nah, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, nothing good is going to come of this. We did what you said. Let's just get the fuck out of here. And would you leave at this point?
It's a good question. All right, let's say that. Do we know any Latin? Do we know any Latin folks? Let's say, let's say this is me, you, and Leonardo. One, he's wearing a Star Wars shirt the whole time. Also, is he old enough to be in college? I don't think so. But
neither is Maddie. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think. Like I'm only leaving if you're leaving. I'm not going to leave you there by yourself. I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
That's a cop out.
Fucked up. Now I got to make the decision.
No. I'm just saying like we either you stay together or you leave together. Yeah. Like that. I wouldn't leave you. I don't trust these white women. Are you kidding me? They can say anything. Yeah, you're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, they could.
You're in a world of trouble.
I'm not giving them my car. I'm not giving them my car, yo. I'm not giving them my car.
I'm more likely to be like, hey, stand over there and I hit you with my car to give you my car. You out of your fucking mind? No. I don't care if my car was a beater ass minivan. No, you can have it.
It's mine.
Yeah, it's mine. My mama gave me that van. Like, get the fuck out of here, yo. No, no, absolutely not.
See, this is why you need to do what I did in college. You need to have yourself a Geostorm, a car so small that none of this shit would happen.
It couldn't happen. Your back was on the back seat in that car, yo. You could have taken the fucking entire front seat out and sat in the back seat of that little ass car. Look, for people who are Simpsons fans, Micah driving a Geostorm is like that scene of that super tall guy driving that car and Nelson making fun of him.
Are you making fun of my automobile?
This is all I can afford. Yo, that car was so fucking tiny. Your seat was literally pressed against the back seat. It was all the way back.
The fact that thing had a back seat was a fucking insult, yo. It was a fucking insult.
Let's see. You had a Geostorm. I don't know what year that was. It's probably a 90 or something like that. 90 Geostorm. That was your first car, right?
It was a 92. It was a 92 red Geostorm that I got from CarMax.
That you nicknamed the Storm.
The Storm, right, man. It's the red Storm.
Yeah, that car was such a piece of shit. Oh shit! And I had an '89 Rabbit that you couldn't turn the back windshield wiper on, otherwise it would blow the fuse, and none of the windshield wipers would work, including the front ones. So yeah, no, we were real cool. Again, please don't think that we grew up in a lap of luxury. Like, get the fuck out of there. My grandmother bought me my car for $500. Like, that thing was a piece of shit. It was all right. It was all right. So I'm not leaving. It's either we all leave or we all stay. I'm not leaving Carlos either. No, I don't trust it. Fuck that.
Nah, I'm not giving you people my car, yo. And I'll take it, no. Right? Like, because at one point early in the movie, when they were like, "Hey, we should call the cops," and one of them was like, "No, we should get a white person to call the cops."
That's the move
for us, right?
That's the move.
And I feel like I got all these white people here as like a phalanx, like a big white phalanx. Right. White passing phalanx.
White and white passing. That's true.
That I feel like I could like approach the cops with this. But maybe not. Emma
I'd be
begins
like,
to
yo, let's
OD.
call 911 back. Fuck that. You get on the line. Get on the line and be like, hey, these guys are actually helping my sister. That's all he had to do. But
Yeah, again,
I get it.
movie
Maddie she's skeptical, so she doesn't know fully what's going on either.
I mean, she's skeptical, but her friend is not, and
Right.
Carlos's cousin shouldn't be, right?
Right.
Emma begins to OD. Carlos drives everyone to the hospital as Kunle performs CPR to save Emma's life. The group is chased by the police, who believe they have kidnapped Emma. Another decision that is so you're trying to get to the hospital. You see the cops. You can still perform CPR and pull over, right? Because the fact that you don't pull over is all the reason that cops need to pull you over. Meanwhile, the Alice is in the back and she's screaming, "Help! Help! Help!" But it looks like she's in danger,
right? Like, get off of the window, dum dum.
What are you doing, stupid idiot? What are you doing? The cops believe they kidnapped Emma. They're stopped by the police just as they make it to the ER, and the police order them out of the car. The white and white passing people get out of the car, but Kunle is still trying to save this girl's life by performing CPR. He gets a gun pointed at him. I always love when movies do this in situations like this, where they show you the point of view of a gun being pointed at you, because it's just a powerful image.
Yeah,
and it is, and it traumatizes Carlos.
Not Carlos, Kunle.
Yeah, Kunle. It traumatizes Kunle, and they drag his ass out. And they sit him on the ground, right? Like they lay him on the ground while the white and white passing people are just sitting on the curb or whatever. Alice begins to try and explain what's going on, meanwhile we cut to a quick scene of Sean looking like he feels regret for leaving his friend.
Hold on, before we get there. When Kunle is laying down and he's got the gun on him, the cop is literally has the gun on him the entire time, and Maddie's yelling about her sister. Hey, my sister is in the van. She's dying. Not once does she say they were trying to help. As they have the gun on Kunle, she never once stops to say, they are not bad guys. Like, get the guns off of them, to get the cops from possibly shooting this young black man who was trying to save her sister's life. Like, at no point does she take a second to consider that this guy could be murdered right then. And I think that's kind of a powerful moment.
I think I understand why Maddie didn't do it, because Maddie's number one concern is her sister.
Right, but none of the friends.
The friends, no, you don't get that. You don't. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, the friends explain later on, but I mean, it was almost too little too late, right? Like, and you see and Maddie realizes it when Kunle is looking at them from underneath the car, and they I think Maddie kind of realizes it, or maybe she's just traumatized from seeing her sister on a stretcher. I don't know,
right?
But Alex explains the situation, and the cop is like, "Well, next time, just call us." And so all right. Let's
pause right here for a second. This episode is brought to you by the good folks over at Manscaped. Make sure you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code Black to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping for all of their products. Look, it's we're not just advertisers for this company. We also use the product, and we've talked about it before. It's a very good product, and we stand by it. Would you like balls as smooth as eggs? Then use Manscaped. Listen, Father's Day is coming up. If you want your dad to give it to your mom without being half man, half goat on Father's Day, get him the Manscaped product. Come on, man. Get the Lawnmower 4.0. It's got a light on it to get down there in your nether regions to make things happen. You can even do the Captain Morgan stance while you're doing it. If that's your thing.
I'll do it.
He's got a barrel in his house. It's very weird. Look,
Foot right on the bowl.
Just everything just falling on the floor. Gross. So make sure you use manscaped.com. Use the promo code BLACK again for 20% off and free worldwide shipping for their product. Again, Father's Day, or for yourself, or for the man in your life that you don't want to, you don't want to have to deal with all those shenanigans down there. You want a clean surface, right? So
yeah, you don't want hair in your teeth, do you?
No, of course not. That's disgusting. Come on, knock it off, ladies. So check that out, and back to the show.
So look, Sean and Kunle eventually make up. And the next morning, or when they make up, there's a conversation that they have where Kunle is like, "Yo, you were right. Like, the cops were there, and they assumed the worst." So here's another issue that I have that I haven't quite settled on.
Okay,
it feels like the movie is trying to say that Carlos was right in his, not Carlos, Sean. It feels like the movie is trying to say that Sean had it right all along, that you shouldn't call the police if there is any type of danger or some shit that you don't know if you can handle. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with that assessment of that's a really unfortunate pause moment for me. I don't think that's what they're saying. I think that they're saying, I hope not.
Yeah, that would be it's a bad message. No, I think the message is that he was right, that cops would assume that. Not that you shouldn't call the cops in a bad situation, but that particular situation, that's how they would see you, right? So, I mean, I think it's more about that particular situation instead of just like sort of general, like you can't call the cops type of thing.
But at the same time, like why would Kunle, and maybe he's traumatized, right? But this situation was a comedy of errors, right? A lot of really stupid decisions had to be made to get to this particular point. Right. And when you are like at the very last stupid situation they have before the cops are here is they don't immediately pull over.
Right.
And if you lead the cops on a chase, like they're going to get pissed or they're going to assume the worst. And look, I'm not here to stick up for cops, but at the same time, like I feel like I understand why they would pull them over and why they would be like the cops in this movie are portrayed, I mean, as fairly as you possibly can, right? Like they are a faceless force that is only there to enforce law and not protect and serve. Like,
right.
And that is one of the most accurate portrayals of police that I have seen in a movie that deals with race relations, right? Because like, if it's not known to people, like cops aren't there to protect people. right? Like they're not even they are there to enforce laws. They are there to make sure that laws are not being broken. Cops aren't they're not diving into lakes to save drowning men. They're not running into schools to save children. Like they're there to make sure that laws aren't broken.
Right. They're automatons, basically.
Right. Anyway, it's I don't know. I think I lost my train of thought, but I don't know. I don't know. And maybe like I said, maybe I just took it wrong. But I would have called the cops in the beginning of the movie, guys. Like there's no way that no one could convince me otherwise. I understand the things that I understand the implications and what it looks like. But Leo, I don't have any other recourse at that point, other than throw that bitch out on the street and
think about it.
Throw that woman out on the street. I wouldn't necessarily wrap her up in a rug or whatever. Like I'm not getting ready to throw her in a river, but
no, I meant just lift her and dump. You put that towel in the dish or the laundry machine. Like, if I'm not getting rid of my towels, it's just expensive. My mama bought me that towel. Knock it off. Just get rid of her, yo. Get out of here. I don't know. Like, so I read the ending, and this is not the ending, but this is part one of the ending, or part one of three endings, really. I just read it as this young black man who's going to be the Barack Obama of microbiology or fungus. He still has a lot to learn. As smart as he is, as much as he is, Mr. Black Excellence and all this other shit. And he never comes off as arrogant or anything like that. Other people call him that, by the way. He seems like a pretty humble guy. Yeah. He still has a lot to learn, even from his friend who doesn't seem as smart as him. And even though he doesn't treat Sean as being dumber than him by any means. Actually, he's like, yo, you are smart. You just need to apply yourself. Like, he still has a lot to learn about the world. And yes, you're getting ready to go off to Princeton and everything else, but there is a lot of life lessons. All your lessons can't be learned in a book, basically.
Yeah, and he has his come to blackness moment. Right?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
He's not like a an Oreo or an Uncle Tom or anything. He's very much black and proud, right? But he's been trained not to see color, right? And he's reached his come to blackness moment, and I think we all do that. We all hit that eventually. I didn't hit my come to blackness moment until like later in life, right? Like I've been very fortunate. I haven't been like pulled over and treated like shit. You know what I mean? Like, but once all these, it's like that Dave Chappelle bit, right? Like, honey, these cops are beating up black people like hotcakes, right? Like that's my come to blackness moment. Right. Like I see all this shit happening and it's just like, oh shit. Right. And I know that's very late. Right. But I think we all get there at some point.
We do.
So I'll take it as his come to blackness moment.
Yeah. I think that's correct. Right. Like you still, with as smart as you are, with as accomplished as you are, as you're getting ready to go to grad school in Princeton or at Princeton, all of that, in the eyes of a lot of people in this country, you still a nigga, and you got to remember that. And you like, right. It doesn't mean you have to carry yourself as lower because you're not lower, or think of yourself as worse or something like that. You don't, but you always have to keep in the back of your mind that there are people who see you like that. And when you know that, when you truly know that about where you stand in the world, Like I know that, or I can assume that when white people hear us say things like that, of like, you know, people still think of you as a nigger no matter where you are in life. Look, even Barack Obama, who's president, the most powerful man quite literally in the world, people still saw him as a nigger, right? Like dumb idiots who can't spell president, you know, making signs like, oh, Obama's dumb, right? Like that's the type of fucking mentality, which is just wild to me. It is actually, it doesn't hurt us to know that. It's actually empowering for us to know that, because what it disallows is us to sleepwalk through life, right? When you don't know that, you're just like, everything's hunky dory, no big deal. And then you get hit with it and you go, oh shit. The rose colored glasses come off. You can still live your life. You can be productive. You can have white friends. You can do all this other shit. But you have to be able to understand that there is a world that exists around you, that not everybody sees you for who you are. They see you for what they want, what they think you are, right? And it's not positive. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to see it in a certain lens and shit like that. But that's actually empowering to black people. It's know thy enemy, right? Like you can't fight against shit that you can't see, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a perfect way of putting it. A come to blackness moment. I think that's exactly what this is for Kunlai, and I think it's important. Now the way the movie sort of dovetails that with these sort of two endings is super interesting. So I do want to talk about that.
So everybody makes up, right? Like the three bears are all cool again, right? And the next one morning after all the events, everybody's cool, right? And all of a sudden they hear a knock at the door. Emma and Maddie bring a gift basket to the guy's house to apologize. Turns out Emma and Maddie live like 2 doors down or whatever, and that's why Maddie does, and that's why Emma was in there. It was in the guy's house because like maybe she was drunk and high off her ass, and didn't realize whose house she was going to,
right?
Which fucking made me mad, like, because that's some fucking drunk white girl shit. Like all right. And they're like, hey, can you bring Carlos out here? And they both come out and they were like, I want to thank you for saving my life. And then and they brought a gift basket of like something that you would give like a baby. It's got like teddy bears and baby wipes and shit in it or something like that. I don't know. And she's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, this is really embarrassing. And then Emma leaves and Maddie is like, hey, so I have something to say. And then she pulls out a piece of paper and reads a prepared statement. And the prepared statement is the same fucking like bullshit that you hear celebrities say when like they say something or do something fucked up. I want to extend my deepest apologies for what transpired the other night. I'm working on myself and what I put out into the world. And Kunle just fucking he does the Denzel meme, right? He does the Denzel gift of just shut up.
But you know what? I absolutely love that response. Because that, like, to me, like, your bullshit of, like, I'm sorry about what transpired, it's not like, hey, they got in trouble with school security. Hey, like,
I could have died, yo.
I could have been killed, dude. Like, I'm working on myself and the energy I put in the world. I could have left the world for good. Like, your words mean nothing. They mean nothing because at push came to shove, like I said, they never took the time to be like, this guy was trying to save my sister's life. She never did. So her words fall on deaf ears. Like, it means nothing. I'm working on myself. Fuck you. Take care of your sister. Why is your sister at a fucking frat party when she's in high school? Why? Like, okay, you take her to a frat party, at least be with her. What the fuck?
Yo, she's a minor, yo. Like,
She's a
what the
minor.
fuck? And then the last little bit is the lasting effects of what it's like to be black. And it's part of his come to blackness, right? Like he hears some sirens off in the distance, and the Wikipedia writes it as Sean notices Kunle showing symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder as the sound of at the sound of distant sirens. And that's how shit like this happens. This is why people don't trust the police. This is why I just finished We Own This City on HBO. And one of the prosecutors, they were doing jury selection in one episode. And they were like, yeah, well, it says something that we can't find 12 unbiased people to sit on a jury regarding a cop because you people keep beating the shit out of them and robbing people. Like the cops, you cops keep beating the shit out of people and robbing people and treating people like garbage. We can't find 12 of your peers. We can't find 12 people that would be completely unbiased to sit on a case regarding a cop. This is how shit like this is why people hate cops. Yeah. And honestly, it's probably I've been very fortunate. I haven't had any major altercations, and it's probably why I'm probably the most indifferent about cops. But I know you've been kind of harassed, and Lord knows Terrence has been harassed,
right?
But that's shit like this is why, man.
Yeah, that's why I don't like cops. Sorry, I don't. I cool if it's on some non-work shit. It's hey, I'm a cop. Yeah, what's going on, dude? That's good. You in a uniform? I don't want nothing to fucking do with you. I don't. I don't like them out of uniform either. No. From a distance, my nigga. From a distance.
Yeah.
From a distance.
When we go to Florida, some of her friends are married to cops.
In Florida? Hell no.
And they are just the most self-serious fucking sticks in the mud you've ever seen, man. And I'm just
I just imagine when you guys go to parties, they're all the party in Lakeview Terrace. Oh, oh, is that what you think? You wanted to come take a ride with me? No, Samuel Jackson, you fucking nutcase. I don't.
At least Sam Jackson would be entertaining. I could find some camaraderie with Sam Jackson cop, right? Cause he's black. All these fucking stuck up ass white dudes with the John Cena haircut, but not the John Cena body. And just I can't have a conversation with any of these fucking people. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
So, Michael, what do you do? Try not to get arrested by y'all. That's my number one deal.
I mind my business. That's what I do. I don't want.
What do you do for a living? Nothing. I don't do nothing. Leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop asking me questions, officer. Yeah, no, I don't. No, I'm not a cop fan. I'm just not. Look, I said, I told my story before. A cop told me it wouldn't be funny if I didn't make it home that night, and I was 2 weeks from going to college because he thought I was breaking into my mom's 1995 Beretta. Yeah, nigga, young black dudes can't wait to get pussy in a Beretta. Get out of here. A Beretta. Get the fuck out. Nigga, that was a Chevrolet Corsica by another name. Get out. It was not a cool car, dude. Thought we were breaking into it. Man, get out of here. Dude thought he was threaten to get me killed. Yeah. I'm a fucking high school student. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the police. Look, they got a job to do. God bless them. Get out there, do your thing. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. Leave me alone. Now, if shit goes missing in my house, I'm gonna call y'all.
Look, something goes missing in my house. Do your job.
Yeah, just do your job. Just look.
Do your job.
A server breaks at work. I don't need to be friends with them. They just be like, do your job. I'm like, I'm on it. You got it. That's it.
Right.
That's what we pay you. Get to work. So yeah. Look, I think ultimately the movie works out pretty well in the end. For me, it took a bit getting there, but again, once it hit that hour mark, that last like 45 minutes is really quite good. I thought it worked really well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the short film is. I think this works better as a short film to kind of cut out all the nonsense and all the silliness, and it wasn't bad. It just kind of it felt like padding. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like you're just trying to extend the movie, and the movie is not that long to begin with. So,
Right.
But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. Not worth a watch if you have like anxiety issues, though.
Nah, just go to the Wikipedia, like some people we know.
Just pull a tiara. That's all we'll call it. We'll call it pulling a tiara.
Too scared to watch a movie. Being a coward. All right, that is it for episode 224, Emergency. We will see you guys next week for another preview episode. Later.
See ya.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.